In Judaism, likewise. In Christianity, likewise. Okay? And why is it they get a central bank first thing of all things?
Yep. Mike, I need to finish up if you don't mind. It's 2 a.m. here.
You're welcome to.
I gotta actually go do something in the morning, up at the crack of dawn. But I would like to just to say something about the Indian tribe. That was very interesting to me, because back in 1916 to 1919 in Ireland, for example, some people may know this, some people may not, but the office of President of the Sovereign Republic of Eire was what they described as an on-the-run office. In other words, if you got killed, hey, I'm the president. If I get killed, he's the president. It was continuous. There was no, because of the situation at the time, there was no election. Automatically, next guy became president. In other words, we were all president, potentially, which, of course, is where the idea of the sovereign republic came from. Another thing I'd just like to read, just because you were talking about the Indians, Indian Chief Two Eagles was asked by a white government official, "You have observed the white man for 90 years. You've seen his wars and his technological advances. You've seen his progress and the damage he's done." And now the chief nodded in agreement, and the official continued, "Considering all these events, in your opinion, where did the white man go wrong?" The chief stared at the government official for over a minute, and then calmly replied, "When white man find land, Indians running it. No taxes, no debt, plenty of buffalo, plenty of beaver, clean water, women did all the work, medicine man free, Indian man spend all day hunting and fishing, all night having sex." Then the chief leaned back. Then the chief leaned back and smiled. "Only white man dumb enough to think he could improve system like that."
Oh, yeah, and I know that's a joke, but there's the perfect truth in it, and I've got some very good Native American friends, and they're some of the best people of all, it's weird. I mean, I don't defend my race, and I'm basically of Scottish descent, and as far as I know of the family history, basically guiltless in these controversies. We stayed clear of that stuff, and my family actually took exception to the betrayal of Robert the Bruce, and it eventually leads to our leaving Scotland and coming to Nova Scotia. I'm a relative of Thomas McKeon, who was actually the second president of the United States under the Articles of Confederation. But the Native Americans have got some really beautiful ways, which I hope never disappear. And they appreciate a person of European descent who makes no excuse or denial of the incredible betrayal of Native Americans, in the history of this country, which is really, I don't know if it's statistically one of the most severe genocides ever, but things that happened here are as low as low goes, and I'm proud to know Native Americans who carry themselves as beautifully as they do, and with incredible amount of natural spirituality, which is a great thing to know in this world where so many of us have really lost our way from the natural rules that exist everywhere. And I really, we have this so-called country music over here, and it actually, descends from back a way of life way back where, it was recognized that country living exposed you to the actual principles and didn't obfuscate them as they often are in city life. And it reaches back toward the same things too. But I hope this turns around, because what happens is, when you divorce yourself from principle for a long time, and live in conditions under which principle can't survive, then at best you've relegated yourself to, at some time, reinventing the right way. And there are so many right ways in everything that we just take for granted, as if it's always going to be there. But it doesn't happen that way. You got a guy who builds bamboo fly fishing rods for a living, and he could just make these phenomenal things which are practically impossible to turn out on a lathe or something. And you take that guy away from his machinery for a few years, and I'm sorry. It goes away. It can't be done again. And those are the better things in life. And when you relegate yourself to working in fast food stores, I mean, you've left yourself nothing. And it's an emergency to turn this around, not just to save ourselves from economic catastrophe, a false one at that, which is only a product of our own stupidity and inability and unlikeliness to stand up for ourselves. It's far more important than that. You're talking about preserving the last remnants of a few things that still exist that are good, from which we could build from. You destroy the whole model, you don't have anything to work from. Kids will look at us like, well, who are we? We were nothing but failures, and rightly so.
Yep.
Do you want to learn from them? Well, what could that asshole have known? I mean, everything that his whole generation did, they destroyed. And the question is, are we no better than that?
Exactly. Mike, I have to call it a night, I'm afraid.
Okay.
I'm getting the elbow here from my wife.
I better let you go. I don't want to get her on her wrong side then.
I'd keep going. Well, but listen, here's the thing. Are you willing to come back? Say, I don't want to get you back too soon, because what I'd like the guys to do, as I said, I'd like them to do a study group, get this information, and I'd like some really, if anybody still isn't getting it after a number of weeks or whatever it takes, if they're still not getting some aspects of what you're talking about or what you're explaining, will you come back and talk to us again?
Well, sure, anytime, and I really appreciate you having me, actually.
That'd be fantastic.
I'm anxious someday, hopefully, to, visit Ireland, and, under very good circumstances for the Irish people, but the people have to make it that way. The solution's a solution, and until you're ready to stand for that and nothing less, you'll never have anything else, because government's about depriving us of that. It's the most vulnerable means of exploitation. Government is, even small governments. So anyway, yeah, I'd love to come back on again, and even soon, whenever it's needed. And, of course, willing to discuss all this with government. We have people actually all over the world who are arranging for me to testify with. There are some governments who are actually in power interested in doing this. And a question for any person of any country is, why is my government not asking about this?
Exactly.
And if they're not, it's time to demand that they do. And if they do, and if they don't respond immediately, and it is an emergency, then, it's time to get rid of those guys.
Exactly, and there you go, folks. There's the information you need. Everything you've pretty much heard everything you need to hear tonight, folks. I think the information is out there. Go study it. Go learn it. Get it into your mind. Fully understand the concepts. Do the reasoning. Do the math. And try to disprove it. In fact, if you can, do your damnedest to disprove it. That's what I'd like to see. Because if you do your damnedest to disprove it, you'll see when you can't disprove it. You should hit the moment of realization. What I'd like to say, Mike, is thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it. I'm really looking forward to talking to you again. And it's now 12 minutes past 2 in the AM here on the land known as Ireland. So
well, I thank you too, Vince. It was my pleasure as well, and I very much appreciate your interest and your having me on the show. It was great. Thanks.
Well, as I like to say, it's a business doing pleasure with you.
Indeed. All right, well, good night then, huh?
Good night, God bless. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Ihawa August Kulasov. You've been tuned to tnsradio.com. And I'm going to have to knock it on the head, folks. It's 2:15 nearly. And that was Mike Montagne. Please go visit the website, perfecteconomy.com. Learn it, research it, do it all. The answer's there, folks. It's simple, really. Well, I'm going to have to play a couple of tunes here for a while because I'm going to have to save this sound file now. It's 5 hours long, so that's probably going to take an hour. So I'll play a couple of tunes in the meantime. I won't put the show on loop. I wasn't expecting it to last this long. But what I'll do is I'll endeavour tomorrow to have the show up as podcast as soon as I can tomorrow in the evening sometime.